This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Get real is right. Welcome to DBL. Hello, everyone. You got Tori, you got Al, you got Jeff, and you got you guys, all of you. On the YouTube channel.
Not anymore.
Yeah. Are you still with us? Hello?
We had
Hello?
you guys.
Are you still with us on YouTube? Excellent. Okay. We really wanted to dive into this and get everyone's opinion. So feel free to really talk to your screen, write us in on the app or YouTube. This is a good time for you to do that if you've never done it before. It seems like wherever you turn on the TV or read the paper, there's one word that keeps popping up more and more. We've talked about it on our show. It's the word Tory. Just kidding. It is the word woke. And it's become this big political wedge issue. But what does it mean? And is it a good thing or a bad thing to be woke? So let's go back to the dictionary.com defines woke as having an active awareness of systematic injustices and prejudices, especially those involving the treatment of ethnic, racial, or sexual minorities. So on face value, that may seem like a good thing, but for some, the woke agenda is a bad thing that goes way too far and needs to be stopped. So I'm going to read through some of these woke headlines. I'm putting them in quotes because people are calling them woke, all right? Let's go. Chick-fil-A goes woke. Conservative fast food chain tests $7 plant-based sandwich made from cauliflower. All right, there's another one. DeSantis just launched his biggest effort yet to rein in woke corporations. How Disney is indoctrinating your kids in the ways of woke while they watch Saturday morning cartoons. Catholic diocese bans preferred pronouns and nixes woke bathroom agenda. So, DBL Nation, this is as much your show as it is our show. We want to hear from you. Would you describe yourself as woke or anti-woke? Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. Jeffrey, I go to you because you and I, we've all had this conversation, but you have a strong take on this. Talk to me about woke means to you now.
Yeah, and I think this applies differently to every single person, culture, sexuality,
Absolutely.
what it means, right? So I don't know if
that's a good place
we're
to start.
all going to agree on what it means.
And that's okay.
Yeah, then that's fine.
Okay.
And I like having this conversation because we couldn't maybe a year ago, right?
Fair.
So to me, 2 words, 2.5 depending on the hyphen, self-righteousness and contradiction. That's what woke means to me. Self-righteousness meaning you're not really trying to help your cause. You're trying to score social points. You're trying to say, I'm the one who got that guy fired. We did it together. We all did that. You don't care about your cause. You don't care about peace in the Ukraine. You don't care about helping the homeless when you're calling the cops on the homeless people that show up on your property. You don't care about that, okay? As much as you think you do, you don't. You're not helping the cause. You're actually hurting the cause because being too woke is contradicting the whole point of the cause. Now let me get the contradiction. When someone in the stereotypical far right does something, everyone's like, we want him canceled and we don't want to hear that opinion anymore. Contradiction. Someone on the far left does something equally as bad. I'm over talking about this. They deserve their job back, right? Same situation. But we're talking about 2 different things. Once it hurts your cause, then you're like, wait a second, people are being too woke. When it helps your agenda, get that person canceled. I'm all for the woke. So that's what woke means to me. I think maybe it's lost its meaning. That's what it means to me.
That's a very good take on that. I mean, that's a very interesting deduction on that. Al, what does it mean to you?
Good use of the word
Can
deduction.
you stop? I was trying to move on quickly.
Honestly, you know,
That was really good.
I love a little comedy break in between.
Yeah, I always love it.
because we need it during these times.
Yes.
And honestly, when we start talking about woke, I think what you said right at the end, Jeff, really resonated with me because you said it's lost its meaning. Because when woke first came out, it was very necessary. Woke was, when I think about the word woke, I think about the way we understand crime statistics. You know, they always say crime's out of control. Now we kind of know what that means about the policing of the inner city. When you understand what those kind of like the words, the subtext underneath the words that we've been using, that's what we understand. There is an anti-black agenda there. When we start talking about woke in terms of chicken sandwiches, cauliflower sandwiches, that's when it's lost its meaning.
It's absurdity to me, to be honest with you.
It was important.
The Chick-fil-A one.
Yeah. Right. It was important when we used the word woke to discuss the Colin Kaepernick situation. A almost Super Bowl going to quarterback lost his job forever because he was trying to bring awareness about stories that we're still doing today, Jeff. Dead black men on the street, and he was trying to bring attention to that. There's a lot of people that don't want attention brought to that, and so they call that too woke. What we're
doing. See, that's where I think It's important.
Right.
There's
Right.
my difference. I think what you just said was very important. Now we're talking about chicken sandwiches being cauliflower. It's lost its meaning.
Right.
So to put that in example.
And that's the saddest thing about it. It's like whether we're talking about the word woke or we're talking about the idea, the ideology behind the Me Too movement, when we were like, we need to get monsters like Harvey Weinstein out of places where he's around humans and into a jail cell. Everybody was on board with that. But now when the Me Too movement goes a little too far and we start getting people like Aziz Ansari that most people agree was kind of unfairly painted with that same brush, now we get into this gray murky area. And I think the way that you take power away from words like the word woke, which was originally put there so people understood the world that they were entering into better, now that word means nothing. And it is a great technique to destroy what was really a good thing, because now when people hear Me Too, they're kind of like, we're looking at this, the alleged Michael Irvin situation, which we haven't talked about, I'm not going to speak about, but it does seem like he was done some injustices allegedly. And so when that word, as somebody who's had a mother that was sexually assaulted and has a sister as a result of it, the sexual assault means a lot to me. But when you paint it across every situation, including a front desk situation between a guest and a front desk person, now that word doesn't mean as much. And I'll say this as I'm talking way too much.
No, it's interesting.
Go back tonight and watch what George Carlin had to say in the 90s about language and about
the 7 words you can't say.
No, that's not it.
Okay.
It's another. Still a good bit.
Thanks so much.
It's a classic bit, but what George is saying in that bit 30 years ago is when you soften language, it loses its meaning. He had this great example about how he talked about this when the soldiers from World War II came home and they had PTSD, they called it shell shock. And that term made people want to act. But now it's PTSD and other languages that soften the language that make us forget that these human beings need help.
And to transition you, Tori, in my mind, maybe not the viewer, what Al and I said is exactly the same thing.
Exactly.
In my mind.
Exactly.
The viewer might not see that.
But yes.
Did you see that?
You came both to the exact same conclusion.
Right.
What's interesting to me is, yes, I see it in a political lens, because that's where I go. Woke, the word, sorry, has been ruined. It has been weaponized. I'd
agree with that.
And it has been ruined. So what you guys were kind of dancing around, it's ruined. It's been weaponized by the right, and trying to make it backfire on the left. The left has gone too woke. So the word is bupkis, okay? It means nothing. It means nothing. Woke, if you really think about it, means I'm awake. I'm awake and aware of injustices that have happened. That's all that means, okay?
Do you know, I'm sorry to cut you off, and it's so ironic with the example I'm going to use, but I would say, for example, I can't speak for you, Jeff, I was woke when I first started hearing about the Me Too movement, because I was like, what is this?
You awoke to
And then
that.
you talk to every woman you've ever met, and you're like, your boss said that to your face?
Right.
Like, I was woke because I was asleep at that point. I thought everybody was just coming to work having so it's for everybody. I'm sorry.
That's the verbiage. If you really go back to the semantics, woke means, like when I said to every woman in here, what do you hold in between your fingers when you go to the parking lot? Keys. Because we will fight someone off. That's when you realize that you were awakened to that information, right? So it's not a bad word. It has been ruined, though. What I will say this, though, is like Ron DeSantis, for instance. If I could ask him a question and say, do you think you're more aware than your ancestors that might have been slave owners? And if you've even evolved a little bit, then you're awakened. You're aware. And that's not bad. So I really dislike, my grandfather said, don't say hate, Tori. I dislike strongly this backfire weaponization of a word that meant a lot to a lot of cultures and could have changed the world. Now, it's nothing. I can't use it. You can't use it. You're going to tell me I'm too woke. I'm going to tell you you're anti-woke. We're talking about nothing. It means nothing.
Yeah.
But it's important to understand the concept of being aware is what evolution is. And that's all it is.
I would say Black Lives Matter was a perfect example.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I was awoken to that.
Right.
And the saddest thing about all this is that in human beings, we're so good at this. We never give ourselves credit, because the Me Too movement and the way that movement evolved over the course of years, usually movements take decades. we shifted our entire cultural perspective on how young women and men and anybody, however you identify, should be treated when they come to work to take care of their families.
Al, how about,
we did that.
How about
we should
gay
be
rights,
proud of that.
Gay marriage. We shifted a full
in a couple of years.
In a couple of years.
But instead, we'll remember this era as a time of fighting rather than
over the word. Over the word.
Over a word, rather than like being like, wow, we recognize the problem and we eradicated a lot of them, or at least brought awareness to the fact that when NWA made that song, Blank the Police, and everybody's like, how could they? It's interesting now that we go back 40 years ago and we're like, wow, that's where that came from.
Or woke up quick at about noon.
Yeah, that's true too.
But coming from 3 different perspectives, I find it very interesting. We land on the same thing. We got to go.
I agree completely.
Yeah.
Let's see what people said. 61% of you say you are woke. 39% of you say you're anti-woke. And again, it's both the right and the left going too far with it. It's not one or the other. Coming up on DBL, good talk, y'all. We're talking all about Don Lemon being back on CNN. Is he on thin ice with the network now? And our interview with comedian Joel McHale. He's telling us all about his new sitcom, Animal Control. Our viewers are talking about DBL.
Yes!
I like that.
Leaves me speechless. I'm like blushing.
Thank you, thank you.
That's emotional.
Do I want to sit there and watch them? Yes, I do.
Definitely.
Oh, no, it's okay.
I thought we kind of did, though.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah, you kind of.
That was the
I thought we did
conclusion we
too.
kind of landed on, but we'll make it specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
I think that's the problem a lot of people have.
Yeah.
Is that woke is good, overly woke is bad.
Yes.
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean,
No, I agree.
Perfect.
I think we kind of.
it's annoying, and I mean, Jeff kind of made that with his first point, and I think
You're all
because
saying the same thing as what
well,
people are saying.
Jeff said something that was really kind of an inside baseball thing for us because, and it's so interesting because I was talking about this nondescript human this morning with a friend of mine that's staying with me, that the person that had all of the homeless people are people, let's get them housed, you know, watch out for police brutality, Black Lives Matter. Every time that person was confronted with a real life situation with those things, we called the police on the homeless.
Yeah.
We definitely
What do your actions
didn't
say?
care about
Right.
this black life
What
as it
is-
pertained to my
Thank you.
belongings.
Thank you.
A lot
So
of hypocrisy.
yes, it's so much
I see what
hypocrisy,
you're
and the
saying
fact
now.
that the fact that Jeff
That's where I
called it-
snuck
yeah.
in that little.
I see what you're saying.
And it's so weird. I was
Is
talking.
this an example?
I was
That's a
talking
good
to my
point.
friend about that today. This person was just so like, homeless people are people, and like we should be nice to them. The hottest day of the summer last year in Denver, they called the police on a homeless person who was on the other side of our fence, and I was like, we could just go take him water, and they called the police, and the police brought them the person 2 bottles of water.
Wow.
So first of all, called the police to a black man's house.
Wow.
So you know,
Did you have something to say about that?
No, I just
No, he's
you know.
saving it for national television.
But
Dang,
but that was the first thing. Rather than just taking this homeless
Listen,
person
I know.
water, it's easier to not lift a finger and just call the cops.
But that person doesn't think that they're that person.
Right. You see what I'm saying?
Well, we're making lemonade out of lemons. I've wanted to use that joke all week. Welcome back
That's
to
not a
DBL.
joke. That's how you make lemonade.
Don Lemon.
I got that,
Oh,
but that's also
okay.
just a recipe you said.
It's back on CNN this morning for the first time since his controversial comments last week when he said 51-year-old Nikki Haley was, quote, not in her prime. He returned today after missing the past 2 days, but did not mention any of the controversy over his sexist comments. But he did tweet out another apology, saying, quote, to my network, my colleagues, and our incredible audience, I'm sorry. I've heard you, I'm learning from you, and I'm committed to doing better. Now, we did hear from the boss at CNN who said Don has agreed to undergo training, but TMZ reports that he is on thin ice, saying one more screw up, he's out. But not everyone's happy he's back. Here's what Megyn Kelly had to say about all of it. Take a look.
Because we have seen person after person get fired because they caused offense, mere offense, when it comes to race, when it comes to sexual orientation, when it comes to gender identity. Does women's offense matter? Does it matter? Because this guy managed to piss off half the country.
Interesting. Nikki Haley is also responding. Here is what Nikki herself had to say about it, the subject of it.
They know that I am the biggest threat that liberals have ever seen, and they're scared about it. But what I'll tell you is, you want to tell me I'm past my prime? Hold my beer and watch this.
She drinks beer, guys. She's cool. So what do you think about Dawn's return and what Megyn Kelly had to say about the whole thing? What do you think, Jeff?
See, you can't even agree with people anymore.
You
Because I'm like, I
totally
agree with Megyn Kelly.
No, you do.
Do you know what I mean?
I agree too.
Here's my question. Before she said it, I didn't even see that clip. Is sexism different than racism and homophobia?
Yes.
Are those apparently three different things
Yes.
we're talking about?
Yes, and
because people have been fired on the other two.
That's true, and I think more people are...
Not saying Don Lemon should even be fired. I'm just putting the question out there.
Absolutely. I think when it comes to sexism, it is undervalued, underrated, and people miss it a lot more than if it's blatantly homophobic or the other. And I think Megyn Kelly's absolutely right. What do you think?
I think she's absolutely right. I was wondering where the same injury was when Trump said those offensive comments to her when he was running. He said she had, he was talking about her being on her period. Do you remember?
Yeah, right. The blood was flowing from everywhere.
And I just remember how applauded that was. And it goes back to what you're saying, Jeff, about how each side picks up where they want to attack. And it's just so interesting that this same kind of fervor wasn't coming from that Fox News building. I'm not taking sides at all. I was raised by a super strong woman. Like, this is not a fight I need to have, or even a discussion I need to have with people. But I just hope people understand that, unfortunately, it's very hard to find anybody that's going to speak that does not have their own agenda. I do think Don has been in the news cycle for 5 days now. I hope he's learned his lesson. If not, he'll lose his job.
It's true. Selective outrage is what we're dealing with right now. We'll be right back.
Watching grass grow is for the bored, but predicting blossoms bloom is best for the brave.
And no small amount of pressure.
A pressure felt by Michael Litterist and the National Park Service each year leading up to their peak bloom prediction, which drops in late February to early March.
It puts us close enough that we can make an educated prediction. So much of this is contingent upon what's the high temperature going to be leading up to peak bloom. Really, that's only reliable about 10 days out.
He explains the countdown begins once trees reach dormancy over the winter. From there, Park Service counts degree days, when the high temp of each day contributes to a grand total of 217.
That's when peak bloom is going to occur. A day in the 70s is going to give you more points towards that than a day in the 50s or the 40s.
They also watch the indicator tree, which pretty reliably blooms about 2 weeks ahead of the others, plus historic patterns, even what other trees are starting to flower.
All of that goes into the mix so that hopefully on March 1st, we come up with a 4-day window for when peak bloom is going to occur.
As for this year's March 1st date, there's nothing magic about it. Litterist says it's just the soonest making a prediction makes sense.
Cherry Blossom Festival is sort of unique in that it's planned not by the calendar, but by the thermometer. We know that reservations are going to start to be made shortly after that, and we hope that we're not going to have to adjust that at all afterwards.
So can't ask you for any insider information?
You can ask, but I don't have any insider information. The trees are the ones that have the information, and they're not talking.
We all know the great Joel McHale from shows like Community and The Soup, but now he is back with something wild. Earlier, we spoke with him about his new show, Animal Control. Take a look. Joel McHale, welcome back.
Thank you.
Whoa,
Thank
Joel,
you so much.
What is this giant light switch behind you, and what does it turn on?
Oh.
That's the power for Los Angeles. Don't turn this. This is actually a Halloween costume that my son wore when he was like 2 years old.
He just wanted to be a light switch?
And what
he wanted to be a light switch.
That's
awesome. We kept it. And he started drawing on it at one point, which we were like, I paid a lot. So that's Then I got a slingshot so I can pretend I'm I don't know, Leave It to Beaver or something.
1950s. Joel, I want to talk to you about animal control because the commercials were all over the big game
Nice
Mazel Tov
transition.
last week. Amazing. I'm really excited for you. What about this project made it worthy of, that Joel McHale magic that turns a lot of women and men on?
Ooh.
Wow. Well, it was the money. And, no, I have a lot of gambling debts. No,
Totally.
Boy, well, you hear this every time, which is, people are like, hey, the script sucks,
Right.
the cast was awful, and the direction was non-existent. And that's why I took it. So, no, it was the opposite, which you hear over and over, which was really, if the script is good, the script is really good.
Right.
And the cast was incredibly, and you can see they're way better than I am. And then the idea was pretty original. I had actually thought someone had done it before, and then I was like, that might be a good sign. No one has. And so that's how it kind of, it's like baking a cake. You just all the ingredients have to come together, and we think it's a good cake, or it's going to poison you. So I also thought that the animal part, because everyone has animal control exists in every city, and whether you're removing raccoons or coyotes or an illegal ostrich farm, which there are, and so those things happen every day, and I thought that, that's a thing that does happen. So that's why I liked it. And I love spending time away from my family.
I hear you. Amen, sir.
Well, let's talk about your career, because you have one of those things it's hard to say now we're in the internet age, is that your old shows, which some of them don't hold up, The Soup holds
Yes.
up.
Yep.
Now talk to me, because I have a guilty reality TV pleasure. Mine's Love After Lockup. I don't want to talk about it unless you want to text about it. What is your reality TV show guilty pleasure?
Oh, boy. Well, I like the one that Nikki Glazer hosts.
Yeah.
That's a good way
You can't really say
Can't
that
say
one on
it.
your show.
It's an island-based show.
Something Boy Island. I love how they make fun of that genre. And on The Soup, we loved The Bachelor because we would just call it like an insane game show where crazy people think they're in love. And this one kind of it turns it on its head. And obviously The Bachelor is huge and people love it, and they love the fantasy that someone can just be with 30 other people for a month and then marry them. It always works out. And so this one is I just like how straightforward it is. And Nikki is so funny. Now that I've told you my guilty pleasure, what's yours?
So yours is
mine is Love After Lockup.
What's mine?
It's in my original one was Shipmates with the old Chris Hardwick show. We'll talk about that later. Yes,
My
that's
guilty
mine.
pleasure right now is revisiting old movies that I loved. Like last night, I watched The Burbs.
That's good. You told me about that. You said it holds up too.
It held
That's a great movie.
It's
Great
awesome.
My friend has it tattooed on his arm, The Burbs. He has a whole podcast, not even kidding. Shout out to Kurt. I really like Siesta Key.
That's your guilty pleasure?
Yeah, the 20-year-olds in bikinis and they're fighting and there's alcohol. Who cares?
Is Joel still here? Oh, there he is.
What? I'm sorry. I just bought an old iPhone for $64,000. That's called a callback, everybody. That's how it's done.
It's a callback.
As always.
That's how it's done.
Joel, we love you. We want you on our panel one day, please. It's always such a great time. DBL Nation, you must watch Joel on Animal Control. It's going to be on Thursdays on Fox. Thank you so much, Joel.
Hey, congratulations,
We'll be right back.
man.
Thank you
Congrats.
for having me.
Absolutely.
President Biden met with the president of Poland amid much fanfare Tuesday, where he reaffirmed the United States' commitment to its European allies.
Our support for Ukraine will not waver. NATO will not be divided, and we will not tire.
The president arrived in Warsaw after an unannounced visit to Ukraine Monday that was meant to show solidarity with the war-torn nation and send a defiant message to Russia nearly 1 year since the invasion began.
I just come from a visit to Kyiv, and I can report Kyiv stands strong.
But Russian President Vladimir Putin sent a defiant message of his own in his State of the Nation address. Putin said his nation would not be defeated in battle and announced that Russia will suspend its participation in the new START treaty, which limits each country to no more than 1,550 deployed nuclear warheads and 700 deployed missiles and bombers. The agreement includes on-site inspections to verify compliance. By suspending the last remaining nuclear arms control pact with the United States, Russia has significantly ramped up tensions with the West. Biden administration officials were quick to condemn the action.
The announcement by Russia that it's suspending participation in the new START is deeply unfortunate and irresponsible. We'll be watching carefully to see what Russia actually does.
The head of the United Nations also spoke out against Putin's announcement and encouraged Russia to reconsider. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
As people file their taxes, the tax credits will look different from the past 2 years when some extras were tacked on. Because of this, we've gotten a lot of questions in our email asking about dependent tax credits.
To verify, we went to President and Chief Tax Information Officer at Jackson Hewitt, Mark Stieber, the American Rescue Plan, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and the IRS. The first question, can you claim a non-relative dependent and receive a refund on your 2022 taxes without having income?
The answer for now is no. They changed the rule for 2021, made it a much more expansive credit, fully refundable. But after 2021, the rule expired and reverted back to the pre-pandemic amounts.
So we can verify that no, you cannot claim a non-relative dependent and receive a refund if you do not have income. The next question, I haven't worked this year. Can I still claim child tax credit?
And unfortunately, the now current child tax credit does have both, an income offset requirement to use most of the credit, and then even to get the balance back in the way of the additional refundable child tax credit portion, you still have to have some income.
For 2021, the American Rescue Plan increased key tax credits to help families offset expenses associated with the pandemic. It also allowed for families to claim the credit even if they did not have a minimum income.
According to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, families must now earn at least $2,500 to get that credit.
You can be self-employed, but you do have to have some income and some tax responsibility, at a minimum some income, to get any portion of that amount refundable.
So we can verify that no, you cannot claim a child tax credit if you didn't report any income. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
Today's sandals word of the day is relax. Watch DBL every day for a word of the day. Then enter at dailyblastlive.com/sandals for your chance to win a 4-day, 3-night escape for 2 to beautiful Jamaica. The winner will be announced on DBL March 1st.
Bathrooms are one of the most frequently used spaces in a home, so how do we spice them up? We're talking about it in today's tips, sponsored by Jacuzzi. First, natural materials and backlit mirrors are top design choices. Next, glass block or Hollywood-style lighting is out now. And finally, shower tiles, cabinets, and wallpaper are going to add some color to your space. If you want to start your remodel, Jacuzzi can help you do it the right way. With a spa-like experience, Jacuzzi offers an unmatched stress-free remodeling process, so visit jacuzzibathremodel.com or call 1-800-523-1523. I have to say, the show is excellent today. I don't want to pat us on the back, but I am.
That was really good.
And people wrote in, and I appreciate all of your discussion.
They said I was good.
They said you were bad. Bye, guys.